Kayla, look at you. Check you out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Brand. Oh,
Oh, no, no, I see Kayla. I don't know if you hear me. Oh, you were just being quiet to be quiet?
No, you're good. I'm just about to put my phone on D&D.
oh,
Okay. Thank you so much.
Otherwise, I will have ridiculous, like, dings coming in because I posted a story today. Let's be real.
Okay, yeah, I bet it's good. I can't wait to check it out. I have to check it out after the fact.
No, you're good. But you can hear me fine and everything?
Yeah, you sound perfect. You look great. You look like you're ready to impress, like always.
I'm ready. I'm here. I'm in full-blown workout clothes.
Nothing wrong with that. I had an audition earlier today, so I'm in my audition outfit.
What cop are you playing this time?
I can't name the show, but you've seen it. Like, there's 1,000% chance that you've seen it. I can't say what it is right now,
No,
but I'll tell you off camera what it is.
Oh, you're fine.
Then Kayla, also my mom's on here, Mama Rush.
good morning, Kayla. How
Good
are you this morning?
I'm good, Mama Rush. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Today, Mama Rush I stayed up watching a show
Righteous Gemstones.
The week.
Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
Yeah, I was told I was supposed to be watching this, and I'm going to disappoint because I have not started watching it yet.
Oh my! It is. You're going to love that show. But
I bet.
But any rate, you look beautiful this morning.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I hope you have a picture posted of yourself. Like, I'm going to put my best self forward because I stayed up watching something till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, Mom, I told Kayla I gave her a pre-heads up that you're up late watching Righteous Gemstones.
Okay, that sounds great.
Kayla, a couple things here. One, I don't think me and my mom had to make you laugh. The photos that you sent, trying to figure out what was the best photo for you to put on, like for like the Spotify thing. One, me and my mom looked at it during dinner time first. But then a day passes by and my mom last night is like, oh man, I was looking at the survey trying to figure out which one was my favorite photo to pick. And it had me dead because I didn't realize that she was looking at the story.
Oh.
So she helped pick out some too for it.
Good.
Well,
yeah.
All of them
bumblebee photo.
Well, all of them were beautiful, Kayla, because you're just a beautiful person. So I picked out a couple of them and I said, oh, I think that would be great for introduction. So that'd be nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So Kayla, one more thing that I'd let you know, how I originally first saw you. I actually can tell you how I first saw you. I don't think I've ever told you the story in my lifetime. I was at the Strom Thurmond Center, and I can't remember if a friend told me that there's this girl running around on the track, or if it was me, I was working, or if I just happened to walk up the steps. But anyway, I walk up the steps of the Strom Thurmond Center. You know how they had that track upstairs?
Yeah.
And like I go upstairs and I see this girl that looks like Chitara from Thundercats. I'm not sure if you ever seen that show.
You're the person who gave me that nickname.
Oh, is it me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's what went through my mind. I was like, oh my God, this is like, I was mesmerized and enamored at the same time. And I was like, who is this person? I didn't talk to you that day, but I saw you walking and then I saw you running and then you stopped. And then I'm like, oh my God, I had to find out a way to meet this girl somehow. And like, I was too chicken to do it at the time, but I ended up meeting you at a party, like maybe not a couple days later.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it does. It does. So,
no,
Kayla,
you never told me that story. But
oh yeah, I guess I think I've told everybody else but you.
That sounds right.
So Kayla, you were originally from welcome to Buckle Up Podcast with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush.
Thank you. I'm actually like pumped to be here. When you sent out the link that you had started a podcast, I was like, how fitting, honestly.
No, nice. I knew you would be perfect for it. Like literally when we came up with it, I'm like, you were the person I was like, I have to get Kayla. Like as soon as we got it started, I'm like, you're the first person I was going to ask.
Oh
so I'm glad. Yeah.
I'm flattered. Thank you.
Well, you have a lot of personality. Like you were her. I guess you were her technically, not him. You were her before that was even a thing. You were like the original.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So you're the perfect person. Kayla, you're originally I know you're from Florida, but I don't know your whole entire story. I want to have you here kind of tell your story a bit to us today.
Yeah. I mean, I was born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida. I always tell people I'm a Florida girl through and through, like love the water, but I didn't grow up near the water.
Okay.
Tallahassee is what I like to call sits in the armpit of the South. And it's hot and humid.
Yeah.
But it was an awesome place to grow up. I mean, it's the government and the universities. You could not get in trouble if you tried. But it was awesome. I went to the same school from kindergarten through 12th grade, which I know.
Oh, really?
weird for a lot of people too. But I went to Florida State's lab school. Basically, we were a testing school, like a charter school.
Okay.
And so I was in what I like to call the 13-year club, because I wasn't in school for 13 years, but it's kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
The additional year on the front end. But what the blessing of that school was really is I could start playing varsity sports in 7th grade.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And you started playing in like, I know that you were, I think I've seen you post things from time to time. It seems like there's all these paper articles. Cause I think at Carolina, you were a heptathlete. Was that what you were?
So I was a heptathlete in college. Yeah. At University of South Carolina. Running track in high school in Florida, they did not have that, the multi events as part of your like everyday track meet.
Okay.
So I ran a little bit of everything, but my last 2 to 3 years, I settled in on 100-meter hurdles, 300 hurdles, long jump, and I anchored the 4x1.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So you're so not only are you a star athlete, like I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't think many people know that, but going back to you're starting these sports in 7th grade, I guess you were that good.
So yeah, I mean, I was at a small school. We counted every student as 1.5 so that we could go up in a like classification. We were technically that small. I had 144 people in my graduating class. So
jeez.
Yeah, tiny class.
Yeah,
tiny
it really is.
But so yeah, I started playing sports at school in 7th grade because I was playing softball and I was a gymnast until I was 12.
Okay.
I quit both when I was 12 years old and I looked for something new and I ended up trying out for volleyball and track. I ran varsity track starting in 7th grade, and volleyball, I was 8th grade when I started varsity.
Like at the high school level, if I'm not, am I hearing that correctly? Because that's insane.
Yeah, no, varsity high school level. Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of people thought I was like a dumb kid and was going to get held back when I was like a junior and a senior. They're like, you have to be 20 years old by now.
Yeah,
like, why
seriously.
have I been running against you for so many years? Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's impressive. Like, to ask you a question, were your parents athletes, or is that just something naturally God-given?
Yes, my parents were both athletes. My dad would tell you he was the best athlete ever in Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah.
But randomly throughout life, we had people corroborate those stories. So,
oh, really? So he was him.
Yeah, he was him. And I would never want to say that out loud, but
yeah.
Over the years, we have had people that we've met who also grew up in Tallahassee and stayed there. And they're like, no, your dad was the fastest kid I ever met. Like,
holy smokes.
So yeah, he would tell you he walked up, uphill in the snow, however many X miles to school, knowing good damn well it doesn't snow in Tallahassee, Florida. But my mom also played sports. She was a gymnast. She played softball.
Okay.
My dad did track, football. He played basketball. He played baseball. And then I am the baby of 5, and we all played sports.
Oh, that was great.
Wait, hold up, time out. I didn't even time out. I never knew that. I knew about your brother. Yeah. I didn't know that you had Kayla, you're gonna have to break that down too. I never knew you were a family of 5.
Yeah, so my dad had 3 kids before he married my mom.
Okay.
Yes, and so 2 of them I knew my entire life. The one in the middle of all of us, we met about 13 years ago. So yeah, crazy story. But yeah, my dad had kids before he married my mom. He had his first 2 at 17 and 19.
Okay.
Went into the military. So Chrissy and Craig are 16 years and 18 years older than me.
Okay.
They were not around really when I was growing up because they were off in college and doing it. But I always grew up having another brother and another sister.
Oh, amazing.
We were very much a blended family. Their mom and grandmother still came to every holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthday.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what like a half sibling was growing up. It was just my brother and sister.
Okay.
But yeah, so my sister Tamara, we met 13 years ago. My dad knew about her when she was younger, but was not able to find her when they went to her. Her mom had moved, I want to say, back to Kentucky at some point when she was a baby.
Okay.
And she came looking for family when she had run into some health issues and didn't know her dad's side. of the family.
Wow.
But yeah, my dad went up to Atlanta, met her and her husband for dinner one night. And that year she was at Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. No, that's really amazing.
She went from being an only child to a massive family. And
Yeah.
a lot of people will tell you that she and I are the same human. So it's actually
Really?
It's actually quite creepy. We have the same side eye, same quick wit, the same like comebacks.
Yeah.
We are absolutely like twin sisters. So it was cool to meet her and have somebody else in
Just
life.
like you.
Yeah, that's just like me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's the fact there's two of you out there now. I thought there was just one. But the fact that there's two of you out there, I think that's amazing. And that's such a beautiful story because I can only imagine like how that must have felt. First off, how that must have felt for your dad trying to find her for all these years. And then for how much, for her to be able to find you guys finally. And then to basically be looking at her twin or her personality twin. Mm-hmm. That's a blessing. Sorry, I'm a little bit starstruck. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I'm at a word speechless. I heard you say, and sorry, because I want to touch on things with your family too, because I heard you mention certain things. You said your dad was in the military?
Yes. So my dad was in the Army.
Okay.
Based overseas for a few years, came back and settled back down in Tallahassee. And that's when he met my mom. And then they never left Tallahassee. So, but he was in the military. My grandfather, his dad, was also in the Army.
Okay.
My oldest brother, Craig, also in the Army.
Okay.
And then his daughter and son are both in the Air Force. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Military family.
Big military family. So that's why I've told people it's why I'm always on time to everything.
Oh yeah, you're pristine at it. I can understand that when you're checking me like, hey Brandon, do you have the link yet? I'm like, I don't have the link. I was making sure we were all set up.
It's okay.
But that's amazing. We come from a military family too. My mommy there.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm listening to everything and taking some notes because I'll ask a few questions shortly.
Yes, ma'am. So my grandfather was Army. He was a staff sergeant in the Army, Korean War. And then, Mom, you want to talk about your dad for a second there?
Yeah, Daddy was a captain. He was in the Corps of Engineers. He graduated South Carolina State University and went straight on, and they paid for his education. He was in World War II.
Yeah.
And so, but by the time he married my mother, he was out of service. Mm-hmm. But he served his tour of duty, and he tells everybody he walked all over Germany, and he helped build the roads. Not build the roads, but he had to map out the roads for the soldiers to walk all over Europe. And so, coming from South Carolina, that was really, I think he might have been the only Black guy from South Carolina in that group.
Oh, wow.
Because he was an engineer. He was an engineering major.
Oh,
so it was different. Yeah. And so with that said, I'm so glad he was able to make a difference for the soldiers and everything. So that was great.
And Kayla, he was Army too. That's the part that I think my mom, I'm not sure my mom said it, but he was Army.
Army.
I was doing the connection there.
That's okay.
Yeah. So you're killing it. So going back to you now, you're killing it throughout. I guess you're in the school this charter school that goes from kindergarten all the way to high school. I've only heard of that like very rarely.
Yeah. So the state of Florida has a few of those schools. Like University of Florida has one. FAMU has one. I know state has one. Obviously, I went to that one. But I guess they're more concentrated really toward the northeast part of Florida too.
Gotcha.
Because I had never heard of anything like that down here in Miami.
Yeah. Okay. I guess not. So I had a question for you because I want to settle this debate. I know that the best athletes come from Virginia because I'm from Virginia, but there's a rumor out there in every state that Florida might have the best athletes. I just want to kind of see what your debate is on that. If I wasn't partial to Virginia,
I would like to see some per capita stats for that. But I've always said I think some of the fastest kids come out of Florida. I don't know if it's something in the water or if I say it's something in the muck. So
something in the muck.
So my brother would tell you some good stories about the muck. There's Florida that is all cotton fields and just tall grass, and there's a a myth that they're fast because they are always out there chasing the rabbits.
Okay.
And if you look at some of the like fastest running backs and wide receivers out of the state of Florida, they all come from that area.
Really? Yeah, you'd be right. Yeah, now that you say that, because you guys do have the fastest.
And then there's something down here in Dade County, like something in the water down here in Dade County. They just produce athletes.
They do.
The board. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, did you compete against those because of where you were in Tallahassee? I guess that whenever you guys went to states, it would be like you compete against all these people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, and I ran a lot of college level meets when I was in high school.
Wow.
So my coaches, like I always say, it's weird that they all ended up in Tallahassee, Florida, of all places. But I had coaches when I was growing up that were Olympic, athletes.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. So my volleyball coach in high school, my two of them played at the collegiate level. One of them is Rita Crockett, who was part of that 1980 Olympic volleyball team that didn't go.
I don't know that story, Kayla, actually.
What was that?
I don't know that story.
Oh, so, and I would love to like talk to her and have her tell it, because
Okay, well, that's fine too.
That was the year, I believe 1980 was the year that they boycotted the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
So she didn't get to go.
Oh, man.
That was one of those, like, she is in the volleyball Hall of Fame, like, insane athlete. I played with her daughter at my high school.
Okay.
So, like, you have that. And then on the track side, I had Ray Robinson.
Really?
Whose daughter was on my AAU track team. Like, and I didn't know who he was. And my dad would always love to tell this story. I was like 8th grade, I think. And I was at track practice and Ray Robinson told me I was coming out of the blocks the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I was doing something and he was like, hey, let me work on your blocks. And I was like, I don't do blocks on Tuesdays. My dad stopped me like in my tracks. Like, do you know who's talking to you?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Kayla, what is your speed in the 100-meter?
Oh, I would love to know. I never ran the open 100 and I wish I had, because I anchored the 4x1 and I mean, I never did it past the high school level, but I never lost a 4x1.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I would guesstimate I was probably somewhere in the low 11s.
That's excellent speed.
Yeah, if I had to guess. But I was a 13.8 in the 100-meter hurdles.
Oh, wow.
A 43 flat,
42
42 high in the 300 hurdles. I was a 20-foot long jumper.
Oh, wow.
I triple jumped at one point, right around 40 feet. I high jumped at right around 5'10"-ish, 6 foot. I think. I was one of those like good enough at everything type of things, which is why I was recruited heavily as a multi. I don't think I would have been, the top end athlete in any of those individual events on their own. So I think the multi was created for people like me.
Oh, great. Okay. Did you ever go to the States?
Yeah.
You never lost. I'm kind of stuck up on the 4x1. You never lost. Well, that means you would have won states, right?
Yeah. So we ran the 4x1 my freshman year. No, 8th grade year. So 8th grade year, freshman year, and then my junior year and senior year.
Oh, great.
4x1, not at ever in any track meet when we ran it. So, I went to state in 7th grade. I qualified.
Oh, wow. That's excellent.
Yeah. And so I don't know what the record is at the moment, but I, at one point, was the most decorated athlete in the state of Florida for the sport.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Kayla. Jeez.
Do you still run?
I don't run anymore, unfortunately. I had a career-ending knee injury when I was in college. So
just for every day, just getting exercise. So you still make that a part of your life's journey to keep that going.
Yes, I still work out 5, almost 6 days a week. I don't lift weights every day. I've thrown in a Pilates day now and there. And on the weekend this morning, I did about 12,000 steps this morning down the Venetian walk. It's peaceful. It's the water. there's not a lot of traffic. So I do that on the weekends. And
That's great. Well, tell me, how did you decide to go to the University of South Carolina of all the schools, because you were heavily recruited?
Yeah.
So why did you pick University of South Carolina?
wow. So I was heavily recruited. I had a choice to pretty much go anywhere I wanted to go. And if it wasn't for track, it would have been for volleyball too.
Oh,
Okay.
I was recruited in volleyball. And I told my family if I was going to go play volleyball, I would have gone to the University of Florida.
oh, okay.
The coach there, Mary Weiss, I don't know what it was about her, but I liked her. She just, the tenacity, just the grit. She was a hardcore lady. And she won championships. So I was going to her team camp a lot, starting in 8th grade. And she started recruiting me when I was in 8th grade. I would go to her team. And I think for track, I narrowed it down to my top 5 were Florida State, University of South Carolina, University of Southern California, LSU, and University of Texas.
Oh, okay. Oh, great schools.
My mom told me California was way too far. So she just X'd that one immediately.
Yeah.
And then I only ended up taking official visits really at Florida State and South Carolina. I don't know what exactly it was. I had basically decided that if I was going to leave home, it was going to be South Carolina. I went on a visit there and it just reminded me of home. The team aspect that I liked, it felt right. I think something a lot of people don't realize about track is obviously there's a men's and women's team, and sometimes they are separated. They're not under the same coaching staff.
Oh, okay.
And when that happens, the women's team, especially back when I was coming through school, had and so it was important to me to be on a team where the men's and women's teams were together.
Okay.
Because when we are together, we're the size of a football team, and we just, I think it just made for just better overall college athletic.
And that is a beautiful school. It is a beautiful school. So that is great.
Yes.
And Kayla, I saw 2 things. One, I was gonna tell Mom, I saw Kayla had a video earlier of her running on that little, what was that thing? It was you were up 4 hours ago running.
I was just walking.
Okay, yeah, I saw the video on Instagram.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell Mom that, like, Mom, you don't understand. Kayla was actually up. I saw her out there, like, because I saw you look good with the Yankees cap. It was great.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. I didn't have a choice growing up in my household.
Oh, who was a big? It was one of them from. Wait, so they just like the Yankees automatically, or someone's from New York?
No one is from New York.
Okay.
My dad's dad was a Yankee fan. And I would tell people I didn't have first birthday pictures in a Yankee outfit, but I might as well have.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're like growing up, it's like you will love Florida State and you be a Yankee fan. You can pick whatever else you want.
Yeah. I love that.
Like this is what we do in this house. And and that's it. There were no other options for baseball team. No.
Holy smokes. Well, I absolutely love that. I wanted to touch back to, so what Mom was saying was about University of South Carolina. So that's where I know you from.
Right.
God. What you studied broadcast journalism, which I don't understand how I never one time, I'm still sad we didn't have a class together. Mom, I just found out the other day, we're journalism. We both were journalism. What's that?
Journalism majors.
Yes, ma'am. And we both were. I just found this out for the first time in my lifetime. I didn't know this. And like, for some reason, we never had classes together. What made you decide to go after or doing journalism, I guess?
I wanted to be a sideline reporter.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't realize how hard it was to be that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in sports and around it, and I love sports. Like, people are like, what do you do on Sunday? And I'm like, well, I'm waiting for football to come back. Like,
yeah.
Right now my Sundays are like at the pool or running errands.
Yeah.
But like, no, I didn't watch Righteous Gemstones last night because I was watching the Panthers game, the hockey.
Okay, understandable. Yeah. Okay.
OT win 5-4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
look at you.
I am a sports junkie, and I love basketball. I grew up watching football, and my dad made me sit there and learn plays. And he has always taught me, you got to look at the line because that's going to tell you everything first, and you're going to know what's coming after that. And he was like, one day you will get married and your husband will be so proud that his wife will understand he wants to watch football.
Yeah. Your dad wasn't wrong there. Your dad wasn't wrong there at all.
Kayla, have you had a chance to use your journalism major in any job that you've done or your career?
I mean, I write stuff all day long. I'm in sales. So I would say there's I haven't used it per se in particular to actual like any kind of journalism. But I learned obviously how to just like what I like to call is write in layman's terms.
Yeah.
I then struggled in English classes because I was like, my paper's done in 2 pages. I can't give you 12. Like,
yeah.
Like our professors would tell us, like, you have to write like you're talking to dummies, you know, you can't use big, broad words and you can't elaborate and, you know, those kinds of things. But the presence of being on camera and being presentable and those kinds of things have absolutely helped me in my career.
Oh, great. What do you do? What kind of work do you do? You don't have to name the business, but just tell me.
All right. No, I'm in group sales for a hotel.
Oh, okay.
I've been in this role since last summer, and prior to this, I was the director of VIP and concierge for the same property.
Oh, okay. That sounds exciting.
It was a lot.
Yeah, Kayla, what all does that entail? What all, like, kind of, if you wouldn't mind explaining, like, what all that entail? First, what you previously did as a VIP of, my memory's good, but not that good to remember.
I was the director of VIP and concierge at a prominent hotel on South Beach.
Ooh, wow.
I basically averaged 12,000 VIPs a year, taking care of anyone from, you know, your Fortune 500 CEOs, CFOs, C-suite level people, executives, home office, anyone who's, you know, spending a certain amount of money, books a certain type of room, staying a certain amount of nights. But I had a team under me, and everything from, you know, tailored stays from day 1 to day 2, you know, to day 5 or 6, or your cars, your transportation, your flights, your yachts, your, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. If you need tickets to events, if you need, you know, transportation to and from the FIFA matches that we will host in 2026, like, it's that kind of level of stuff. What I loved most about it was building relationships with people. It was, I think it's one of those roles where you know exactly what you're going to get every day. There could be days where there's not a lot happening, and there's days where I got screamed at.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's hospitality. So you deal with entitlement but what I think was awesome about that position is I learned how to kind of talk to anybody anyway.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the reason I wanted to ask, because Brandon, we have how many, about 3.6 billion.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mom. We have, no, go ahead, Mom. You can say it.
You tell it, because you know the stats.
Kayla, we have 3 points in 15 days, although we hit 1 million point two at day 5, we hit 2.4 million at day 10. At day 15, we hit 3.6 million viewers / listeners in 7 countries. Yeah, we're kicking ass.
But what's so good about this podcast, and with you being on, there are a lot of kids trying to decide what careers, what do they want to do in life when they go to college, and they're spending all this money. And you being on here telling about what you have done, what you're doing for a living, it gives children the ability to maybe hone in on the skills they want to have when they go to college or they're in high school thinking about careers. And so that's why I'm so glad you're talking about the hospitality piece, because we haven't had anybody really talk about that particular piece. And so give them that option, that ability to do that. That is so great.
Yeah, I would say hospitality found me. I graduated in the height of the recession.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I moved to Miami because there was just really nowhere else that was hiring anybody. uh, I I luckily had a place to live when I moved here. My grandmother still lived in Fort Lauderdale at the time and had no one else living with her. So I lived with my grandmother down here, my mom's mom, for 3 years when I first moved to Florida.
Oh man.
Oh, I bet she was glad to have you.
Yeah.
Probably to an extent. Probably like having someone there at dinner, but not that I was coming in at like all times of night, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was the 23-year-old living in Miami. Like,
Living the life.
I'm sure she was fine, but
Yeah.
happy when I was like, I'm moving out.
Oh yeah, I can help you.
But I walked into a hotel on South Beach and like just basically applied to be a front desk agent in person.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know anything about the hospitality industry when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a pretty place and it looked like, at least people were making some money.
Yeah.
But I walked in, I got hired the next day, basically. And like the rest is history. And I just worked my way up from that over, the last 11 years that I've been in hospitality.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So Kayla, that's you started at, so yeah, you basically started from the bottom, and you're saying that you worked. You don't have to brush over. You can elaborate if you want to. I'm just saying it's okay.
No, so I started as a front desk agent when I was 23 years old. I had no work history because I was an athlete in college. Yeah. So like I didn't know where to go. And people were like, well, you never worked before. And I'm like, but being an athlete is a full-time job. Yeah. Respectfully.
Yeah, seriously.
I missed class every weekend and still graduated with a decent GPA. Like, please.
Yeah.
And so so I walked in, I became a front desk agent, and then I stayed operational. I went through from there to rooms control, and then I was a coordinator, a VIP coordinator after that. I left that hotel and went to another one as the VIP manager.
Oh, wow.
After that experience, I left hotels completely for 3 years and kind of bounced around and ended up going back in 2018 to the hotel that I started at as their VIP manager. And from there was promoted to director and then director of VIP and concierge. And then I decided that I wanted work-life balance and I was ready to kind of create my own destiny. And if I could make more money and work less hours, that was the goal. And
okay. That sounds wonderful.
That's why I moved to sales last summer. Yeah.
Okay. Kayla, I have an important question for you because I just realized that when you're talking about that you went back in 2018, what was that like during the pandemic?
Oh, so we closed March 23rd, I believe, was the last day of business. But state of Florida is wild, wild west. So we were reopened June 1st. We were like pandemic who?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So hotels were reopened June 1st. I was still on furlough. I didn't go back until beginning of October. But it was weird. I mean, you have a hotel, you had limited occupancy. You could not have any outlets open. So we couldn't feed people when they came to stay.
Ooh.
The pool and beach was even closed still in June and July. But it was weird because people were coming to stay. Like they didn't want to be home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to say like kudos to like Florida government for staying open, but it saved tourism, when everything was all said and done. I know everyone lost money, but we bounced back and we bounced back in the next couple years.
Okay. Well, man, that's pretty awesome that you, Florida is something. I remember just being in, a couple things. When that was going on, I literally was in New York filming Blue Bloods at that time. When the news was coming out, I was in New York. I was on a train. Like we were hearing that people were getting sick, and I was on a train from where World Trade One was going to the Bronx because that's where we were filming at. And like I had my mom gave me like MP5 mask or something like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm taking an hour train up there. It's right next to Yankee Stadium is where I got off at. So I get out at Yankee Stadium. We're working. We're not really sure what's going on. I literally filmed that day, and it was every production in the state of New York shut down. Every movie, TV production shut down. And I luckily got on a flight out because it was my dad's birthday the next day.
Oh, wow.
So I, during that time, but I remember just what kind of a crazy time that was. And I was one of the only people flying during the pandemic for work. So there was 3 people in the airport, and I'd be one of them.
That's gotta be weird.
Honestly, I have videos of it. It was literally I'd be flying from the East Coast to California, or California back to the East Coast because we had work, but we had conditions of how we had to work, and there would be 4 of us on a huge charter plane to go to either New York or to go to LA, and we'd have to sit in certain places so the plane wouldn't tip because of the weight.
Right.
Yeah.
I do flights like that randomly, not necessarily during the pandemic.
Yeah.
But it's always a little strange where they're like, "Man, we need you to get up and sit here," and I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
The plane is empty.
Yeah,
that's a lot. There's a flight that goes from Miami to Charlotte, and then Charlotte to London. And that bus that goes from Miami to Charlotte at 7 o'clock in the morning, has 70 people on it.
Holy smokes!
It fills up when it gets to Charlotte to go to London, but that same thing on that flight, and I'm on it a couple times.
Okay. Well, at least you had at least you had a lot more leg room on the plane. When you think about the planes now. Whew.
Absolutely. Mom, I had to make you laugh too, because Kayla was talking about, you prayed to, because she was telling me that she gets in these small planes to go to. We had a conversation yesterday. She gets in these small planes, which I told her she's precious cargo. So she can't get in these small, those little one propeller planes or whatever.
Yes.
And that you
propeller planes.
Yeah, and you pray to baby Jesus. I think you were kind of telling me that yesterday.
Yes, I unfortunately in the state of Florida, you would think it'd be easier to fly from a Miami to a Tallahassee because it's the same state, and it's impossible. And to get a direct flight, you got to pay just way too much for what I think that flight is worth. And I was telling them last time I was home, I didn't really look. I just booked a flight last minute. And on the way back, I remember telling my family, y'all, I walked outside the airport in Tallahassee to walk onto the plane, and I saw propellers. And what is an hour flight took 2.5 hours.
Oh, no.
Go high enough to go fast enough.
Yeah. Jesus, that's crazy.
It's one of those moments where you're please just
Jesus help us. That's what that's about. I pray when I get ready to board a plane. I always touch the plane outside.
Yeah.
I touch it right when you're getting ready to go into the door of the plane. I always say, Jesus, please keep this plane in the air. That's what I do every time. I said, bring all the angels, bring everything that's possible. And then on the way, I've been on a bad flight before, a real bad flight. Yes. And we all prayed on that plane. I'm telling you, it was a small plane. And we were coming from, I think it was New York, and I guess headed to South Carolina, Virginia. And we had an ice storm. And the pilot took off with ice on the wings. That's a definite no-no. And so he barely got it up in the air, And I'm telling you, it was a mess the whole time. And I'm back there in the back with this police chief from the state of Virginia, and he is hot as he can be about the whole situation. And so when we finally landed, we all clapped. We clapped, and then we helped each other take the luggage off. And the fire chief told me, he said, Carolyn, you go ahead, because I'm getting ready to have a conversation with these pilots. And he stayed back, and he had a major conversation with them, because he said, man, you could have gotten us killed. He said, because it's your responsibility. I heard him talk. I just got my luggage and left. I was just glad to have my feet on solid ground. So with that said, I wanted to go back to you about something you said about Tallahassee, Florida. I'm sorry, I got to drink some water now. My mouth is getting dry.
Mommy, need to get your water?
I have some.
Okay. She's
Excuse
another
me.
one.
Tallahassee, Florida. They filmed a movie called Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is that place? I've been there. I've been to Tallahassee, and there is a place, and you think it's just a little lake out there, and then all of a sudden it drops off, and there are mountains under the water. What is the name of that? A lot of people, it's a tourist site.
So in Tallahassee, I don't know where that would be actually in Tallahassee. There's places right outside of Tallahassee that are like that.
Yeah. But this one,
we have a lot of springs up in North Florida. A lot of springs.
Yeah. This particular one, I remember this old movie called Creature from the Black Lagoon with Tarzan, I believe.
Okay.
And we went on a boat ride, and it had a glass bottom boat. And so we were all in this little nice calm area, and the man was telling us the stories about the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
And I cannot think of it. And then all of a sudden we went over to this other section of that same and mountains were under the water. Mountains. And you look down and it starts to drop down. If I think of it, I'll have Brandon call you. I just didn't know if you'd ever visited that place, but it's amazing when you live in certain states, you don't visit the places that others might do. Might be a part of.
The only place I can think of is Wakulla Springs.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the name of it. Have you been there?
Oh yeah, we grew up going to Wakulla Springs. You got me at Glass Bottom Boat. I've been on the boat, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh yes, that's it. I could not think of the name of that. Brandon, I don't know if you remember that. I don't think we took you. Yeah, as a little boy. I don't think you were. No, you weren't born when we went. But at any rate, with that said, go ahead, Brandon.
Oh no, go. I was like, I can't even talk today. I was gonna let Kayla Wakulla Springs, but you guys know what it is then.
So Wakulla Springs, yeah,
that's it.
One of those places we grew up going. The water is ice cold, like ice cold, and it is year round, always the same temperature. And the thing that sticks out to me the most about Wakulla Springs is you think it's safe, and this is where I'm like, kids today probably still get in. I don't know if it's the same setup. But it's like there's these like buoys out that have like netting underneath. Do not swim past. And they're like, because we don't know what's on the other side of this, basically.
Hell no.
I now, as an adult, I'm like, what was the net gonna keep out?
Yeah.
What was that actually gonna do? Or the buoys that are on surface level, like someone can't jump over that.
Yeah, seriously.
But they're alligators, right? That they go swimming, Brandon. They go swimming at Wakulla Springs. They can swim there, but you see alligators if you go a little bit up in another area. I said,
it's
amazing.
Go ahead, Kayla.
So, Wakulla Springs also over to the side had these decks that you could jump off of, like these big decks.
That's right.
Off of. The first two were concrete, like good cement structures. And then the last one on the top was this wood structure that swayed when the wind was a little too, strong. And that's like, we would, as children, would just go up there and jump off. And where we would jump was one of those places that was really, really deep. And you could not see to the bottom, could not touch the bottom.
That's right.
And I remember thinking, like, how is it that 2 feet away you can touch, but right here it's like the whole lot.
That's right.
Like,
it's the most amazing thing.
And you can't see. You
that's
cannot.
Right.
It's black. It's like a black. And that's what we would jump into as children.
Nope. No fear back then.
None.
Yeah.
No,
shoot, that would keep me up at night now because one, I don't they say in Florida you always have to check the water before you get in because there could be a gator in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of water in this state. A lot of the thing is, like, they're not really in the ocean. It's just it's the inside, the man-made things that they like. But all of the springs in Florida have gators.
Oh, okay.
I see these videos of people swimming in them, and I'm baffled.
They just go tubing down the lake.
Yeah.
For hours a day. Yeah. I grew up doing all those things.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to ask a question now because you're so beautiful. How is the dating world out there for you all? Now, Mama Rush comes with all kinds of questions.
Oh, dating is interesting. So I'm actually coming out of a almost 11-year relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We were together, married, getting divorced. And I didn't know what to expect with the dating world coming back out on this side of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is very different from when I was last single.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's interesting because when you come out of a relationship with someone that you were with for 10 years, they are a part of your being at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And but I learned so much about myself leaving the relationship, and I learned so much about what I want in somebody else and that person needs to possess for me to even be with them. So I think it was a blessing in disguise, honestly, at it. But dating has been interesting. I live in a city full of beautiful people. I'm sure Brandon has the same issue out in LA.
No, I don't have an issue out there at all. Trust me.
No, but
at all.
Like there are pretty people everywhere. And I think Miami is just one of those cities, unfortunately, from my experience, that I think everyone likes being single down here. I don't think there's a lot of people looking for a significant other, even though they and I think it's just because it's a fast-paced city in a sense of there's always something happening. There's always an event. There's always a dinner. There's always, a game. We have sports teams. We have major leagues. We have NFL. We have basketball. We have it all. And then we host stuff like Miami Grand Prix, which is now signed through 2041 in the city. Have FIFA 2026. We're going to be a host city for FIFA.
Oh, okay.
So I think with that aspect and the amount of people that come into this city and the amount of money that comes into this city, it's a little bit tainted down here. Because I think social media plays a role where you think be something better.
I see. Well, do you deal with a lot of people being real? I've always been a real person. Or is it, how do you find in the new dating situation you find yourself in now? Do you look at the inside of a person's personality, how they are? I mean, you can cover up anything. You could take a rat and cover a rat in chocolate. And I don't know why I picked the rat for the instance, but anyway, but inside, some rats, I guess, are nice. But at any rate, how do you pick a person, not just based on the look on the outside, but the inside of that person, the beauty that they have inside, in that kind of environment?
I think it's hard unless someone is also equally, ready to open up and be who they are truly. I like to say that I present myself, and you're always just going to get the real me no matter what. If you like it, great. And if you don't, great. I've, done a lot of work just to be unapologetically, authentically me.
That's great.
I've had, I've been blessed to have the right people in my life a lot of times, just in friendships and even other relationships that I've had in the past.
That's great.
That I think they would all tell you that they know who I am and loved who I am.
Well, that's great.
But I think it's hard because you're obviously, I think the physical attraction always comes first because a hello and a hello or a hi, how are you? Not going to give me your full personality. But there's a lot of pretty people that I've had dinner with that have on inside
nothing.
And it is a thank you next. I just, I move through it faster than I thought.
Wow. Well, I see how Brandon and you online dating. I would not have known how to do that online dating. That would have been crazy for me to try to figure out. I would be too scared to do it. And meeting crazy folks that look good, and then all of a sudden you might be calling Jesus and all the angels from heaven to rescue you. I met David. I met Brandon's daddy at church.
Okay.
It wasn't the same church that I went to, but I just met him at church, and he was a good man. And so,
yeah,
so
I think it's interesting because I think that's why like a lot of like work relationships happen because you're there probably most of your day are the people who you genuinely get to know the best typically.
Yeah.
But I think that's why there's a lot of people who end up like dating someone that they already know too.
Yeah.
Or they circle back and go to someone past that they didn't necessarily have a relationship with back then, but do now.
Yeah.
And I think it's really just because I think a lot of people just do not open up about who they are at the end of the day. I wish nothing more than to have like just these like crazy deep conversations with somebody who, you know, wants to peel apart all the layers and get to know me down inside, because I think that's where all the beauty is, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good advice. I wanted you to talk about that because of the age group on the podcast, and a lot of single men, women, and all, and they're trying to make decisions about who do they want to take life's journey with the rest of their life, and to enjoy that part of it. And I know there are different people with different personality types and all, but will that person make you happy once you peel that onion layer back? And can you get through that part of it? But at least one thing I can pick up on, that you have a beautiful spirit myself through the phone. And I can tell that you are authentic. And I always say that I want these young girls and guys out there to listen to what Mama Rush is saying, because I think this is an area where you all can get on and talk about different relationships and what you would advise a friend to do, or I wouldn't do that, or whatever like that. But I think those are the stories that need to get out. You don't quite hear all those stories all the time on this type of level, social network level. But I'm so glad that you felt open enough to discuss that with Mama Rush today.
Yeah. Kayla, I'm going to speed run through it real quick for both you and Mom. One, I'm the same person 24/7. I have a problem with speaking my mouth. I have a problem with speaking who I am since I was a child. I always speak my mind, but I've always kept that authenticness to me. As you said, either you take it or you leave it, which is why when I got to LA and it was like Flakes R Us University, I never, that's why it's always been like oil and water with me. Like people like, you're not from here, are you? I'm like, no, I'm not. Like they're like, clearly, you're like from the East Coast. I'm like, yes. So like, I have never dated a girl from LA specifically, and I don't date people in LA pretty much, but the girls that I've always dated were always real ones from NorCal or from San Diego. Literally, if you look at everyone I've dated out there, they're from NorCal, because NorCal people are so much like us East Coasters. It's crazy, and I love it. And so every girl that I've dated has been my girlfriend, has been either from NorCal or San Diego. But when it comes to LA and like Flakes R Us University, where you can pour sugar on all those flakes out there, it's just, I was like, it feels like it's a lot like Miami, where people are worried about looks. I want to have a conversation with somebody and know like, hey, what's the real you? Like instead of me getting, first off, I get out there and they're like, hey, I was always asked, what's your sign? And I'm like, oh my God. I've never been asked this by a girl in my lifetime until I got out in LA. And I've probably been asked that question, I want to say a good like 500 times. I'm like, I don't follow horoscopes, but whatever it is, it never seemed like it was me. And then people are like, oh my gosh, that's totally a Virgo thing to say. I'm like, oh, Jesus, like, I don't follow the horoscopes.
I have been told that I am a Capricorn through. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, what does that mean? Right?
Like, I understand it to like the nth degree. Like, it's not that I can like dig into. but like once someone sends you that, your algorithm changes on social media to tell you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Capricorn. Yeah. So, phone listens to you. Now everything Virgo is going to pop up for you, and you're going to have an understanding via social media. Yes.
I had a friend of mine who, well, when's Capricorn? When is that? I didn't know what month that. I don't follow these horoscopes. I didn't know what Capricorn was a thing.
Birthday's January 19th.
Okay.
And I'm the last day of Capricorn. I think it starts like December, I'm going to say like 21st-ish.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. Sorry.
Neither do I. I can't help you out there much either.
But yeah.
Sorry, Kayla. So so basically when it comes to like everything you say, I agree with you 100%. Like, yeah, get to know me. Like, it's not about what I do for work. It's about me as a person. Because back out there in Flakes University, it's like they're always asked, oh, well, what do you do for a living? I'm like, why is that the topic point? Do you have anything else inside of you at your core?
And you know what's crazy is I went on a date, and in 30 minutes, the guy told me how much money he makes a month.
Loser. Loser. I'm sorry. That's a loser to me. Like,
and I remember being just so turned off. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I've had other conversations with him at this point, and my thing is, why? Like, what made you tell me that in the first 30 minutes of meeting me? Like, I don't understand. Like, tell me where you're from. Tell me how you grew up. Tell me your relationship with your parents. Sure. Like, how many brothers and sisters do you have? Like, that for me is like first 30 minutes. Not,
it needs to be.
Not, oh, by the way, I have the XYZ, this amount of businesses, and this is the amount of money I clear every month. Like,
oh my.
We call that a tool. Sorry, that's just me.
And I called my mom and told her to call me to get me out of that.
That's what I was wondering. Did you do that? That's what I wanted to ask you. Do you ever say for 30 minutes, I'll be here, 15 minutes, I'll be here, meet me, or I'll buzz you, call me? Do you do that with your mom?
I do it with my mom and my friends, but yeah.
Oh, that's the right answer then. That's the right answer for you.
Yeah, no. So like my mom, I'm like, hey, I'm here. And if, I'll text you if it's going great. If not, call me at this time and tell me it's an emergency.
That's awesome.
That's the right answer.
I feel a lot better. That's never happened to me. I'm dead. Yeah.
I've had girlfriends that I do that with, like my girlfriends that are down here in South Florida, like, there's a couple of us that are singles. So if we are like on a date in said neighborhood where that person lives, like we will show up to that dinner if need be to like be like, and how are you? And then to sit down at dinner with those people.
That's awesome and smart. And girls need to know that tip. I never would have thought about
girls and guys. Tell me one other thing with that process. It's good to talk to you single people out here. Do you ask for coffee? Do you go for just a quick coffee or tea? Or do you actually go for dinner? And then who pays? Do you pay? Or do you say, let's just split the bill? Because I know some people out there probably say, well, I get a free meal. No, that meal's going to cost you in the end. So do you go for something like a coffee or tea or whatever at a public place?
I'm open, but I always tell someone I just want to be in a place where we can actually have a conversation. I don't care if it's breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal. So like, and going to have breakfast at a diner or something like that. I also think that like something like coffee takes the pressure off of, trying to show up all dolled up in real clothes and a dress for dinner.
Yeah.
I love doing that. Don't get me wrong. Like I love to get dressed up and done up, but like I'm in workout clothes 9 times out of 10. If I'm not at work, I don't have makeup on. So
well, how do you determine a safe space to be in?
I always say that we have to meet in public.
Perfect. I want everybody to hear that.
Yeah.
To meet in public. Okay.
The amount of guys I've like matched with on a dating site who invited me the very first time we were to meet to their is alarming.
What?
Yeah. It's and I'm like, I don't know if it's like a stunt. Like I want you to see where I live and how nice I live because where I think it comes from down here in Miami. Like look at the nice building I'm in and how much it would cost for me to live here.
Yeah.
I okay to be like, I can meet you downstairs in your lobby and we can walk somewhere. I'm okay with that. But like, none of me wants to go to your apartment before I've met you in person. Like, none of me. I watch too many serial killer documentaries.
Yes, I do too. Crime dramas.
You're smart.
I'm so
smart
glad
though.
these young people, I want you all to, older people, everybody, listen to this advice that these two young people are giving you all this morning, this afternoon on a Saturday. Listen.
Yeah, I'm not giving advice. Well, Kayla, it's interesting you say that because I guess mom, forgive me. So because I've always dated athletes all throughout college. My girlfriend's really
yes. Yes.
And so I've always been used to, I always tell girls whenever I ask them on a date, which I gotta make a point here. The fact that, hey, you can wear your athletic clothes. I'm so used to dating athletic girls or like girls or athletes that my first question I always tell them is, hey, you don't have to get dolled up. You can wear athletic clothes or whatever. I'm completely cool with that. You don't have to wear makeup. I always tell them that because to me, and that's something my mom taught me. She said, if a girl's beautiful, just like you are, without makeup on, then she's gonna be gorgeous whenever she does have the makeup on. So every date I've been on, I always told the girls, hey, you don't have to get dressed up or anything. Like you can either wear athletic clothes or whatever you feel comfortable in. I'm cool with. You're gonna wear athletic clothes, and a lot of them have showed up in athletic clothes, or they haven't, or they showed up in other stuff. But the other thing I was gonna say is because I guess I'm just naive in the fact that since college I would just have I invite girls over. I stuck in that mentality. So I've always asked girls. I'm always like, hey, you're welcome to come over to my place, and I'm thinking from a place of innocence. I'm not because I know I'm a good guy, but there's a lot of psychos out there, and I agree with you. Yeah, they should meet out in public because everybody that wasn't raised the way my parents raised me. There's psychos out there preying on girls.
It's funny you say that because in college, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
I feel like we all kind of knew each other in college too.
Yeah, true. That's also
there was a level of comfort because if I'm coming
to
your apartment or you were in your room, I probably know the person who lives next door to you too. So, if I need to run, I know where I'm at too.
Yeah.
And campus life is easy.
Yeah.
Storms. Yeah.
I'll get home pretty quickly if I need to on campus.
Yeah, you're right.
That mentality is probably the same because I run it. The people I typically date were athletes at one point in their life too.
Yeah.
And I think it's just typically because I meet people in the gym 9 times out of 10 if I'm out somewhere. But yeah, I don't want to come to your apartment the first time I meet you.
I understand.
Not ideal.
I respect it. And I think it's smart. I think it's smart for, I guess men too. I guess I'm just a little bit more naive than everybody else, but.
Well, and my thing, I think for me is like the amount of guys that think I have to go to do like sit down and eat. I'm like, go Top Golf. Like.
I hit my wife. Yeah.
Give me a day at an arcade. Like, there's so many other things that are like fun to do. They'll have a conversation and like to an arcade, and I want to see how competitive you are too.
Okay.
Oh, if you want to lose in life or not. Like, because I am going to find a way to win. Like,
well, Mortal Kombat is going down then.
It tells me so much about you.
Yeah.
No, like there's a guy that I matched with and he's like, I need to know the sports you suck at. And that's what we're going to go do.
Okay, there you go. You're like, none of them really, but
It's like, I was like, I can't play basketball. I am tall. I never learned how to play basketball.
Okay.
I suck at like actual golf, but I'm great at Top Golf.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Actual golf, I get bored.
Kayla, I'll have you explain. I know what Top Golf is, but I'll have you explain if you don't mind. Top Golf.
Top Golf, Mama Rush is, how do you say? It is basically a golf range. They have multiple floors and you can hit as many balls as you want basically within a certain time frame. Bowling, I guess. Top Golf it's geared toward golfing and they have this large green, this large fairway that has these big holes, and it's basically like when you get it in the big hole, the closer you get to the pin, the more points you get. The further you hit it, if it goes into one of those holes, you get points, and so it tallies up as you compete against everyone on your team.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I like that.
lot of
Top Golf, you're welcome. We just gave you free advertisement on the Buckle Up podcast. So I will be tagging you all, Top Golf, in this. And then Kayla Parker or myself or Mama Rush, you have your spokesperson for Top Golf.
I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready.
It just happened right there, Kayla.
But no, I think it's great because there's food, there's alcohol if you choose to drink. And it's a very casual way like to get to know someone and to have conversation because there's no pressure. Like you literally, like you talk about showing up to somewhere in workout clothes. Like I'm not going to show up to Top Golf in a 4-inch heel, you know?
Yeah.
Like the most authentic version of who I am, because it's this playful space where there's no pressure. And you're also seeing probably more of the competitive psychotic that you'll need to really know about me if you want to ever, because I am competitive in everything.
Love it. I absolutely love it. And that's what we need. Mom, is there any other question you have for Kayla? Kayla, I told you I'm going to have you on here as much as possible.
Yeah.
I just know we've taken up a lot of your time today.
Yeah. What happens is,
it's fine.
Well, what's so great about the podcast, we get calls from people wanting to talk about certain subjects of a person they've seen out there talking about something. And so they might submit a question. And then the next time you come on, you discuss a question that they had for you. And that's what I love, the beauty of this, because people are learning people right here in I think it's a beautiful space to talk freely. But we don't want to take up so much time. Let me look at my note sheet and see if.
I have one thing, Kayla, we don't have to touch on it if you don't want to. It's up to you. Did you want to talk about your dad? If not, we can do another time.
I'm always down to talk about my dad.
Okay.
Tell me what happened here. I'm sorry, I missed something.
Yeah, go ahead, Kayla. You can go ahead. I didn't want to. As I said, I wanted you to be happy. I wanted you to be happy all day, and
it's not anything I think that like takes me down and like ruins my day. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing that I still have the memories of him, and you know I still feel him near me all the time. I mean, it was a whirlwind of a few months, you know, it's just kind of chaos in my life. I don't think I understood what I was going through really until one of my really good guy friends called me and was like, I need you to slow down. Basically, you know, I moved out of I separated from my husband at the end of August of last year. I didn't actually really have my own place to live at the time. So I was bouncing around friends' houses and stuff. And I changed jobs at the end of July. I'm separated from my husband at the end of August. And my dad passed away in January 15th. And then I moved again for the third time in 7 months at the end of March. So, you know, one of my best friends called me and said, you know, if you look at the top 5 stressors in life, the only thing you're missing is illness. He's like, and I need to slow down. You're doing these things and you're moving through the motions because you're strong. He said, but you know, you need to take the time to yourself and feel.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm happy to help you where I can with that. But, you know, he was one of those people that called me. There was a handful of people that I had my friends text when I found out that my dad passed away. So like I was in New York. My birthday's January 19th and he passed on the 18th. You
said January 18th, Kayla?
Yeah, he passed the day before my birthday.
Jesus.
And that's this year?
This year, yeah.
Oh, so, Kayla, wow.
Yeah, so
I'm so sorry.
I was in New York celebrating my birthday weekend with my closest friends. And my brother called me at 12:30 in the morning, and Nick doesn't call me late. And I was getting ready to answer the phone and tell him like he was early for my birthday. Like, you're a day early. Like, why would you do this?
Oh man.
And I answered the phone and he wasn't really making noise. And I knew it was something. Like it it hits you. It just, something sinks, and he could barely get the words out. And I know it's the hardest call he's probably ever had to make in his life.
Yeah.
And I remember he said, Dad passed. And then I remember just saying, where's Mom? And my one of my oldest sister still lives in Tallahassee, and we couldn't get her. And we were just trying to get someone to my mom's. My mom was in the hospital. And I was on speakerphone, and my girlfriends heard the call. They heard what my and like my girlfriend Jess rushed to one side of me just to hold me because she didn't start. And then the other one took my phone and logged into my Delta app somehow and changed my flight, my outgoing flight to go home the next day. And they sat with me on the bed or the bathroom or wherever I wanted to be. I was crying and shaking, and, it just didn't feel real. And it's one of those things where it doesn't feel real right away. And like, yes, I'm going home the next day, and I was like, I don't think I've cried that much ever in my life. And I didn't sleep that night. Like 5 a.m. to catch my flight to New York. I never went to sleep that night on Friday. And I didn't sleep at all through the night. Like I couldn't. And my girlfriend stayed up with me all night and then rode with me to the airport. And my friends, one of my friends had texted a few people for me. And I was just like, these are the people who need to know I'm not coming to work. People who need to know what happened. And two of my guy friends knew exactly when I was going to be landing in Atlanta and when I was going to have a layover, and both called me during my layover so I wasn't in the airport by myself. And that's when I had that conversation with my guy friend, and he said, okay, you've done it all now. And he's also lost his father. So I think it's one of those things where when someone's been through it, they kind of know how to navigate it when it's somebody else. And he called me, he said, okay, it's time to slow down. He's like, you've hit 4 of the top 5 stressors in someone's life in 6 months now. Like it's slow down. But
Kayla, excuse me, I'm gonna let you finish talking, but Kayla, had your daddy been sick, or was it sudden?
He a little bit of both. He had lung cancer 16 years ago and beat it. But with that comes things. He was diagnosed with diabetes about a year before he passed. He had COPD a few years prior to that. He was diagnosed. His lung capacity wasn't great because of the cancer. And he was just on a decline for the last year of his life. And, I was home in June the prior year because June of last year, because I wanted to see him. His birthday and Father's Day were always around the same day. So I went home. And then I was the only kid who went home for Thanksgiving this year. And when I left Thanksgiving, I texted my siblings and said, Daddy doesn't look good. To get home at some point. Like it just doesn't feel right. Like just, And the next morning he collapsed walking out of the house, and my mom took him straight to the hospital. He was in the hospital for 6 days. He came home on oxygen at the beginning of December, or came off that oxygen, and he just kind of wasted away in those 6 weeks. He had minor heart failure, but and we were all very close to our dad in different ways.
Yes.
He talked to every single one of his kids, I think, every day at some point. I talked to him every day on my way to work for the last 15 years. So if I didn't call him one morning, he'd be like, where you at? I was listening to music instead today. Like,
yeah.
that.
Kayla, you said you're the baby of the family.
I am.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So wow.
I was around a lot when he had lung cancer 16 years ago, and I was there with him during his chemo sessions and those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw someone different in him 16 years ago when he beat the lung cancer. That person wasn't there this time around.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt it. And I remember telling my mom, you know, you need to start thinking about what life looks like without him. And
Mm-hmm.
I know she was probably pissed at me that I said those words out loud to her.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt it. I didn't know when it was going to happen, right? But I just was like, it's going to take a miracle to pull him back the other way.
Yeah.
And you know, I think I cried a lot when I first found out. I cried all the way through the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And I got home to Tallahassee, and this like sense of calm kind of came over me. And you know, my brother and my mom and I and some of my sister who lives there, my dad's sister still lives in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
We all kind of had like 3 days of kind of quiet just to ourselves to
Mm-hmm.
process things, or at least start to process things.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of laughter, you know, a lot of telling stories,
Yeah.
people coming out the woodworks who knew the man, you know, who my dad's like slogan through life was like, when you meet a person, you don't just touch them, you touch their lineage. He's very big on, if I'm going to have a conversation with you, it's going to leave a lasting impact, and it's going to also impact your kids and your kids' kids.
Oh, okay.
He was a 10th degree black belt in martial arts and a grandmaster.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And yeah, a lot of things that people don't know. Didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're telling me about your dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
getting to know him through just the statements you're making.
Yeah.
He is also, to become a grandmaster, you have to create your own martial arts. So his martial arts are still practiced all over the country today.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And you know, that also goes back to like, you can see like what I grew up with as a father, like
Yes,
the calm mind, calm spirit,
mm-hmm.
knows oneself, you know, just some of the lectures we got as children, my goodness. But I think in that week being home, I got to say goodbye to him on that Tuesday. I got to see, and I didn't say goodbye. I think, you know, the timing of the year, you know, I said, Lamar Jackson blew it, Dad. You know, Chiefs Bills 4 is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's Patty Mahomes. And, you know.
Yeah.
About South Carolina women's basketball.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking about all the things we would have always talked about. And, you know, it was really beautiful to be able to spend that moment, even though I know he couldn't respond, but at least just speak to him how I would.
Yeah.
And you know, I think like just the amount of people that came out for his service, and you know, the man lived in Tallahassee for 72 years. You know, he just spot. Has had 5 kids go through the school system, and you know, like you just have, you know, a touch on the city, and through his job too. My dad was, you know, the VP of diversity and equity for one of the larger construction companies.
Wow!
Holy smokes!
And he started doing that 20 years ago, before DEI was a thing.
Yes,
he really did try his damnedest to make sure that minority companies were involved in the builds of Ajax Construction Company. And they would tell you today that the way they do business changed just because of my dad. You know, he made it a point to hire, you know, black and brown people, and he loved hiring women-run companies. Like, he would tell people he's a girl dad. I'm like, you do have 2 sons. You know, like, girl dad. And I'm like, hey, Kobe.
Very brilliant man. Very brilliant. He knew the most talent. you get that talent and that different perspective when you are in that role, the role that he served in companies, and companies become greater because they have people of color and women, because we always bring something different to it. And you always, I appreciate everything you said about him now, because I'm getting to know your father.
Yeah.
So he lives.
Yes.
He lives. Remember that he lives through you, and you're sharing his stories now with, hey, Dad, she's sharing your stories now.
Yeah.
And that's where we keep them alive. Grief is something. And I always tell people, don't tell me how to deal with grief. I don't want to hear your opinion about it.
No.
Because some days are good, some days are bad. Both my parents have gone on to be with the Lord. And so I have comfort. And sometimes I can tell you when things hit me, I don't know if Brenda has shared this with you, but my parents come to me. They come to me. I can see them. They stand in front of me and they talk to me. And so their spirit comes back and they start to talk to me. And at one time I was going through something in my life, and my parents came to me. And I asked a couple of my siblings, I said, have you seen Mom and Dad come to you? A couple of them have. And so, and it's so like they're right there in the room with you. They're talking with you. And I asked Brandon, and Brandon can tell you. Brandon, share your story.
Kayla, I'll make it quick because I don't want to talk too long. Basically, me and my mom are impasse. I don't like telling people because I don't want to freak people out, but I can be able to really read people. I can feel like I can almost tell everything about that person down to how they're feeling. It doesn't matter where they are in the world. I can feel it because I've always been able to read my dad. I've always been able to read my mom. I just don't tell people out loud because I don't want to say it out loud.
Sure.
But because it freak people out. But when my dad died, I see my grandparents from time to time in my dreams, and I see my dad in my dreams also, and it really is them. So when my dad died, I know the room that he died in. I was back at my house in Virginia. I went up the upstairs. I knew my dad was going to be there, and so he was waiting in the room where I saw him last. And I said, Dad, like I know you're dead. You're not supposed to be. He's like, I know, Brandon. I'm like, I miss you, and he's like, I miss you too. And it was good to be able to see him then. When I some of the other podcasts, when I was building this whole entire Buckle Up podcast and the AI that I created, I could hear my dad talking to me the whole entire time. And our cameras in my mom's place were going off, and my mom was asleep, but I was awake because I was up for 24 hours, 4 days. But the final day I was up for 24 hours, and at like 5:34, my cameras kept going off. I kept going to my mom's room. Hey, there's something going on here, and it was at the same time that I was hearing my dad talking. It was saying that the camera said that there was a person in the room. So what Mom's touching on is the fact that yes, we're able to read people. What she's kind of saying, the fact when she said that her parents were there, I know for a fact they were there. I just said I don't say it out loud because I don't care what people think in the first place. But I don't want to scare people at the fact that, hey, this dude can read everything about me without me saying anything, which is why
it's a gift we've been given, Brandon. My great grandmother had the gift, Commander, and I said, yeah, and so it's a gift that we have. You can talk to a person, you can read the person's spirit. In talking, we don't have to see you. It's so strange. We can be talking with you on the telephone, and we know through that phone, we can tell if you're in a good mood. It's almost like, and we can get you in a good mood if you're in a bad mood. But it's just a gift that we have. And the Bible speaks about certain gifts and talents that the Lord has given you. And that just happens to be one of ours. But with that said, I thank you so much for sharing the story of your father. I just want you to know that a lot of people keep busy and try not to think about it. But grief, my parents been dead. I think my dad's been dead about 14 years. And my mom, it might be, my dad about 20 years and my mom about 14 years. And I think I have that number right. And I still think about them. Some days, great days, some days are bad days, but I just keep on because I know they want me to keep on going. But I look in the mirror. What you're gonna love when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're gonna see your dad. You'll see parts of him. I don't know if you see it in your hands or whatever. I see my daddy's fingers. I see my mom's high cheekbones. I said, Lelise, are you looking at me in the mirror? My mom's name was Lelise. So you will see your father. And as you continue to tell his story, like I said, grief is something that if you go down that, if you've been there, you know what the person is talking about. And we just know that it is a journey, that particular part of life. But you have just been just a beautiful, cherished young lady that I've gotten a chance to know a little bit more about today. I love how you've taken me through your childhood, almost through college days, through your professional career. And I really wish the best for you the rest of life's journey. Anything you ever want to talk about, feel free to call me and talk about it. And so thank you for this opportunity today. I appreciate you sharing with, hey, everybody out there, you see this wonder that the Lord brought to you all today, this day. So remember this day, the day we got a chance to speak with Kayla. Brandon, anything else you want to say?
Kayla, I will say this, and semi-wrapping up. We'll talk to it next time I talk to her, talk about it. I'll make it fast. During the time, grief happens every day. I said I still cry for my dad every day. Yeah. But I also remember those people that weren't there for me when my dad passed. And that hits me like the sound of them. We had a little conversation about that. It is deafening, the sound of our friends not being there for us, or that we have been there for. Because from knowing you and from everything you told me, you've been there for everybody, just like I've been there for everybody. You've shown up to people, you've flown to other states to show up and be there present for them when they were going through stuff, marriage, death, whatever the hell it might be. You were there for them. I've been for my friends in a lot of those situations, but not everybody showed up. And I remember.
Absolutely.
And so
that's one of those things where people who hadn't been in my life for 3 months were calling me when my dad passed away to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
And then there's people who've been in my life for 15 years that still haven't picked up that phone. And, I think you learn about people as you get older, and your circle just gets a little tighter and a little tighter, and a little tighter. I think for me, I don't want to say it's shocking, because I think I just always give people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. I say I'm naive, but I let you prove to me that you're not a good person. I like to believe that people are good people.
Yeah.
That helps me sleep at night.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to say, I think the majority of people are good people. I do. But I think that comes from growing up in the South and, being always say good morning and how are you?
Yeah.
Because I go on my walk and say good morning.
Say hello to people. Yeah.
I'm on the phone with my mom and she's like, does anyone say good morning back to you? I'm like, no.
No, not even in LA. Same thing in LA.
I was like, I hate it, but I'm gonna keep saying good morning.
Yeah.
No, but like the silence is deafening. You think you have people in your corner who do up for you. Yeah. And, I have a small group of friends, and girls and guys. And, I understand that you get busy. Like, I understand life comes at you.
Yeah.
You don't have time to see everybody, all the time. But, there's people who I did not expect to hear from that, haven't been in my life in 10 years that heard the news and made sure to reach out. There are people who showed up to my dad's service that were on my t-ball team, or like my track team in high school. People showed up to my dad's service who still live in Tallahassee. And I was shocked to see those people, because I haven't talked to them since I left high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, there are people who I expected to show up who just haven't to this day. And I think like there's part of me, I don't think about those people often. I can tell I've learned to love and let go. And, people show you who they are and you just have to let them. And
that's so true. That's so true.
I told my mom in January, even before my dad had passed away, I told her that like I don't ever have New Year's resolutions, because I don't them.
Not do I.
I don't either.
Like, why do I need to wait till January 1 to be better?
Seriously.
That's correct.
I don't. But I told her, you know, like my mantra, I guess, for this year is just let them. Like, if they want to be in my life, let them. If they don't, let them. You know,
perfect.
They don't want to get to know me, let them.
Yeah.
If they are doing something stupid, let them. You know, like, I've just always been this person that's always wanting to be in control of everything around my life. And, you know, even I think to the point of like forcing certain relationships or friendships, because I'm loyal to a fault. And
it's not a fault though, but
like, it's a blessing and a curse, I guess you could. Because I don't want to say I've been used, because I don't think that. But I tend to, like, when people are close to me and I let them into my circle, they get all of me for life. And I know that not everybody is going to give me the same version back. So I've just learned to trim those people out of my life, because there's no reason for me to keep pouring into someone who's never going to pour into me. And it sucks, because there's some people who've been friends of mine, you know, 15 or 20 years now. But if my dad passing away does not trigger you to check on me, you're never going to check on me. It's just, and that's okay. And you know, I'm trying to live in this of just like, let it be.
Well, God gives you the ability to have the weeding process, to weed out. The Bible speaks in a certain thing about weeding, what God does. And so in life, I don't know the exact scripture, but in this life, you're going to have, you've been out in a field where you have flowers, beautiful flowers, and weeds grow up. In a garden, I plant a garden. I like gardens. And in that garden, weeds start coming up around it. And sometimes, and trying to snuff out the beautiful plants I have growing. And sometimes I let the weeds come on up. And then when they think they've taken over the beautiful tomato plant or whatever, I start to cut them out. Just cut that all out. Cut it all out. Because it's taking the fertilizer from something that's going to be great. So that's how I'm going to compare this. And so with life, you will learn over years how to weed out. It can be family, it can be friends. But I always tell Brandon, you might have 30 friends, but at the end of the day, you probably will come down to maybe 6 real friends or 10. If you come down to 12, congratulations. Okay. And so with that, I always say you will find a way, or God will show you a way to take that person out of your life. They don't need to be there. They're taking up space. They're not giving you your peace that you need to have. And that peace must be most important to you. And I always tell Brandon, and it means if you have to take out certain people to have that peace, it's a beautiful thing. You can sleep at night. You can grieve on your own. You don't have to worry about doing anything to please anybody else about that process. You're just doing it yourself, and you're taking that journey. It's good to have really great friends too. The ones that made my list. I'm telling you, I can tell you 6 people have made my list. And I've been in this earth a long time. And so I thank the Lord how he weeded those people right on out. He just took them right on out. No matter, and they didn't know. They were put in that position to be weeded out. Okay. Be taken out of my garden, my beautiful garden. And so the Lord said, no, we can't have anybody messing your garden up. So that's just to share that with you. And Brandon, I always tell Brandon, I want you all to think about that, because God has given you both beautiful lives. And he's given us beautiful things to do. And Brandon, okay.
So Kayla, I'm gonna say this real quick because I know my mom's got. I think mom's gonna do. So I'm gonna say this real quick. One, I'm not sure if you ever seen like the Godfather. Mike, you ever seen Godfather?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm in my Michael Corleone / Killmonger era when it comes to friends and family right now. I really am, because
for it. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, I am. We'll talk about that next time. But I'm in that era right now because family and friends are getting cut off from me. That's one part. It done me dirty. Second part is this: your family, your dad, your mom, your siblings, your community have done an amazing job with you. You are a wonderful human being, both beautiful on the inside and outside. So when you with the people that weren't there for you, that revealed their character. But you are an amazing soul. I'm so glad to know that I'm friends with you. I'm happy to be friends with you. I'm learning so much more about you today. I already love what I already previously knew, but it made it that much more today. So you are an amazing human being, not just from what your parents and family and environment done, but how you built yourself up yourself. So you can always hold your head high, and I always have your back no matter what. And so does Mama Rush.
Yes, I got one back there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Brandon, what do we do
Yeah,
now?
well, Kayla, thank you so much. You're back. Welcome back anytime, Kayla.
We clap. Excellent, Kayla. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Kayla, I'll get this back to you. I'll have it back to you probably later today.
I love it.
All right.
Okay.
You take care. You have a blessed day. Thank you so much for your time, too, Kayla.
Absolutely. Bye.
Okay, bye. And have a great weekend, Kayla. That's what Mom just said.
Oh, you too, Mama Rush. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Love you. Bye-bye.
See you.